Welcome back to what sort of feel like a never-ending project. Slow, steady. You got to do this right. Right now, I am setting up the forms for the concrete for the slab. I'm going to have a 6-inch slab here, and along the edges, they're going to be at least a foot by a foot. I mentioned before, Arizona, the frost line, I got to go down 3 inches. I'm at least that, but I'm also going to backfill because I want this up a little bit higher than the surrounding land. Monsoon season, I don't want the water to be higher than the floor of the shop. So I use the transit to get it more or less level, and I started off, I laid this one out. I've got the string tied around at the, hopefully at the level that I want this stuff. So I started in that corner, put this one in, and then I put this one that way the other day. Yesterday it rained all day, which is good because that meant all this dust that was here is now turning into a solid mass. So now I'm adding on to this one over here, and obviously you can guess by the torn up dirt, I did not have it deep enough. It got, the ground got higher down that way. So I'm got the backhoe, roughed it up because it's pretty hard. This native ground is really hard for shoveling. Backhoe does short work of it. So I'm going to dig this all out, and then we'll get the next one installed. And because this is a little over 48 feet, I'm gonna have to cut a piece for the end, and because it's 38 wide, these are 20-foot long poles or boards, and this one is what I cut off. And I'm working in spitting rain. Can't tell which way the clouds are coming from. They're coming from the east, which isn't surprising, and that's where, you know, back east they're getting all kinds of stuff, but it's coming off the Dragoon Mountains that are over there, moving this way. So I think the wind is blowing it off these darker clouds, and I got lighter clouds headed my way, so I'm just going to keep on going. All right. So I don't know if this is the right way to do this. It's the way I'm doing it, and what I'm doing is I was very careful to get this one, the first one, level, and then I got this string that goes along here that just barely touches the top of that one, so that from one end to the other gives me that 20 feet. And hey, this is fun with a 20-foot 2x12. Ugh. Trying to do it all by yourself. So what I'm going to do, these stakes have holes in them. These happen to be 2 foot long, and they have holes to be able to run a nail down through. And I'm just going to put this one in here for now. And this is close on here. Now I got to move the other end and find out I got to bring this end up just a little, like less than 1/4 of an inch. Then we're going to move this end in so that it's at the wire or at the string. And it doesn't touch the string here, which is good, but it does touch it. It does touch the string right there, so that tells me either this board is got a hump to it, or I got a little high spot right there. So what I'm going to do is move the board, and I'm going to dig out just a little bit. It's pretty good. So the string not only gives me a judge of height, but it gives me this outer edge. So by keeping the board right on this string, it's giving me a nice straight, although it does tilt a little bit, which isn't going to hurt it. So it gives me a nice straight edge. So I get that lined up. Right on the string. I'll put a bar or a actually call these things nail spikes. And because, well, spike, you nail through it. There's the hole, there it is. All right. Dead on. Now this is a little bit above the ground. That's so on the bottom. That's okay. Just means I'm going to backfill a little bit to give it some support all along. And then that's pretty good. And now I'm going to put 2 more spikes in 5 feet apart and nail them, and then I got this short one, but I'm gonna leave this, go to the other side, do the same thing on that side, and then I'll cut these pieces. What I'm doing is I'm doing a 3-sided box because I got a little more leveling to do in here, but not much. Just that hump right there for some reason. And then I bring in the big pile of stuff behind me, the AB mix, and put that down. I said I want a 6-inch slab here, so I'm going to put that down and give a nice even surface that's 6 inches down from this level. And pack that all in. That's where I got to really take care, get that level, get rid of some of the slight low spots, and make it nice. So, all right, back to work. All right, so yesterday I had some water delivered, and I'm getting 1,500 gallons. He does it 750 at a time because that's how big his trailer is that he's got right now. And so this tank is now full somewhere about here. I can tell just by feeling it, and all of a sudden it gets cold right here. Say 800 gallons, 750. Total, I'm getting 1,500, which will take me up to about here. What we had to do was take a hose and run it off of his pump. He stood up on my sketchy little step ladder that's only about yay tall to get up there. So he suggested I put something like this in, and this little cap comes off. His hose will hook onto this, and we'll be able to pump it right up in, and no climbing involved. This just goes on, and one of these things clamps down, or two if I can get it, but that'll keep the bugs from getting in. And yeah, so now I also added a spigot down here on the bottom, and I've got a transfer pump, so in a little bit I can back the bus up here, hook up the transfer pump to this runs off 110, so I'll hook it up to the generator and fill my tank, and I won't have to be driving to Benson or Tucson to Love's or Pilot to take a shower. Be nice. All right, back to work on the forms. Things seem to be going really well, and you can see I got most of the forms up, and that's when I realized that what I thought was flat really wasn't flat. So I spent some time yesterday taking off the high spots, flattening this out to get it closer to where I want it to be before I put the AB on and pack it down. While I was doing that, I discovered right there 2 mesquite stumps. I didn't even know why those were there. I thought I dug everything out. I didn't just knock them off. Somehow they were there. So now that area, I had to go down, well, whatever, about that deep to really get to far enough down the root to be able to get it out. So now I got a big soft spot. Everything else here is down to pretty much undisturbed soil. I've taken off the top layer. Yeah, there's some dust from the wheels kicking up, but it's really hard packed except for there. So now I got to use this plate compactor. I'll compact it down. I'll spread a little more dirt in and compact it down until I get a nice solid base. then I can go from there. All right, I've got the forms completely around and leveled off in the middle, and now I've spread what they call AB mix. It's a mix of sand and small rocks, and I've been spreading it out, trying to get it eyeball level. I'm gonna have to fine tune it some, but the way I've been doing it was I take the level off of, let's see if we get the right end. Here we go. Now this spot I think is a little high as far as the dirt. I'm coming off the top of the form, getting this leveled, measuring, and that's right about, just about 6 inches. So I'm shooting for 5.5 to 6 inches, and I'm going to come back and compact this. So the idea is I'm looking for a 6-inch slab. 5.5, 6 inch, not going to make that much of a difference. This is not perfectly level, but I think I got a high spot right over in there. But the way I've been doing this is using the shovel to get like the corners, and then I got a rake over here. I got what they call a landscaping rake. Teeth on one side, flat edge on the other. So with the teeth side, I can really move some stuff around, and with the flat side, I can smooth it off. As you can imagine, that's a lot of raking. But then once that's done, then I get to the next step. So today, I got to finish off this corner. What I did originally was I left this section off, had a little bit of a ramp down in here so that I could drive the tractor in and dump off bucket loads. And then yesterday I dug out where the ramp was. So let me get doing this. I don't think you really want to see me raking a lot, shoveling a lot, but I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, run the plate compactor all over, and the weird little circles here and there there was a couple of high spots that were, I'm going to within a 1/2 inch. So again, I'm looking for a 6-inch slab, but if it's 5.5, okay, it's a little over 6, okay, I want it 5.5 to 6. I want it in that range, and it's pretty close. Like I said, there's a little low spot, there was a high spot there, a little low spot. It all evens out, and the center is where buses would pull in, heavier equipment. So that's where I really want it. Now I got to do the next step is rebar around the bottom. I got to shovel out the trench where to get the excess out. There's some spots where the plate compactor really doesn't like on the edges, so I got to do that by hand, but that rolls the wire. That's the next thing that goes out. And a word about the plate compactor. I bought this at Home Depot. It's okay, but I would not recommend this particular one. You see this right here, this fuel filter? Well, there was just a connection there. I wouldn't really call it a filter. It broke in the first 10 minutes. So I put a real fuel filter in. And for whatever reason, this little part of the accelerator sticks. This does not operate it. To get into the mechanism, I got to pull the tank off. But now that I finally figured that out, and usually I'm running at full bore anyway, so yeah. So again, this Yard Max one from Home Depot, I would not recommend it. But when you look at how much it costs to rent one for a week or a day, I bought this for less than it cost to rent one for a week. I got it. I'm going to be doing other projects that I need to compact stuff, so you know, I'll fight through the little problems. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you at this point, and we'll pick up when I'm doing the rebar, and hopefully there's a guy, I want to have his crew come up to do the pour, because this is big and it would kill me. So all right, see you later, YouTube. Be safe.
Jumped off the wagon